Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 40 of Two Amazon Sellers and a Microphone. With me, as always, is Chris Gramlich. What's up, Chris?
Not much, man. How you been?
I've been good. It's good Monday after Thanksgiving weekend, so I'm stuffed. I probably should start exercising, but I'm good otherwise.
And I got food. I got leftovers for weeks, so I'm good to go for a while.
Absolutely, yeah, it's true. But also, we're kicking off, this Cyber Mondays today, so it's exciting to see sales rolling in and this boom of traffic that's going on right now. So it's a
good time of year.
Fun time to be selling on Amazon and e-commerce in general. But today's episode, we just want to spend just a quick amount of time here going over some common terms and acronyms that you hear people talk about all the time that are in the Amazon space. These terms get thrown around all the time. And sometimes, unless you just look them up, it takes a little while to figure out what they actually mean. So we're just gonna go sort of down a list here. We're gonna try to go in alphabetical order and just quickly touch on a term and what it means, and then just move on. So this can be a nice resource for you in terms of knowing what people are talking about when they say some crazy acronym from Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get cranked up, Chris.
Sure.
I'll just let me say the term real quick, and you just give a brief definition of what that term is. How's that?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
All right. What are people talking about when they say A+ content?
This is a detail page where on your description below this, where your description is, but it's more like images, infographics, lifestyle photos. It's below the bullets. But this has replaced basically enhanced brand content. This used to be called enhanced brand content, but now this is called A+ content.
Yep. All right, moving on. We're going to speed through these.
Okay.
This is a big one for us, Chris. ACOS, ACOS. What does that mean?
Advertising cost of sale. Formula is total spend divided by your ad sales. Gives you ACOS.
All right. What about affiliates? What are affiliates on Amazon?
This is a program in which people can actually earn money by driving traffic to Amazon products. So they get a little bit of a cut. This can be off social media, blogs, forums, but they essentially sign up for this program. And if they promote the link, they get a percentage of that sale. And it's not just that sale. It's like the entire cart. So somebody buys a big screen TV, you get that too.
Yeah, I'm an Amazon affiliate myself. I've done this in the past before spending most of my time in private labeling. But yeah, it's a good way you can just send somebody a link and Amazon will pay you a commission for driving traffic to the site. So it's good side money if it's something you're looking to do. All right, next one. People say this all the time. ASIN, ASIN. What does that mean?
Amazon standard info number. This is just a characteristic or an identifier that Amazon uses for your product.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they use a lot of different identifiers. So a lot of times there's confusion between what ASIN is or SKU or FNSKU, which we're going to talk about later on. But yeah, this is the ASIN is just a number that Amazon assigns to a particular product. You have no control over setting your own ASIN.
Yeah, this is like it's set and it's always going to be that ASIN.
Yep. All right, here's another one that causes confusion. What's the buy box?
This is where you get the sale, right? This is where people buy this. This is where people make their money. So this is where you as a seller, somebody goes to the listing and buys the item. You're in the buy box, which is on the detail page. That's going to be where you get the sale from. So the buy box is on the detail page. A customer just has to hit buy now. And as long as you're in that buy box, you would get that sale. And that does rotate depending on the product.
Yeah. Where this comes into play mostly is when you have a lot of different sellers selling the same product. So if you're selling a pair of Nike shoes and there's 25 other people selling the same pair of shoes, you're all on the same listing, but Amazon will allocate the buy box to only one of those sellers based on a lot of factors. So it can rotate, or somebody can have it for a long time, especially if they're lowest price. So that's a real people fight over the buy box all the time. All right, BSR or bestseller rank. This one's pretty obvious.
Yeah, this one's pretty common too. This gets thrown around a lot. This is where you rank at in that category. Every product is going to have a bestseller rank. It's usually updated hourly, but it's like the sales history of a product. So this is your bestseller rank in the given category.
Mm-hmm. It's just good to know that bestseller rank is BSR. That's the acronym, because people all the time will just throw that around. Hey, what's your BSR right now? Mm-hmm. So that's what that means. All right, we already talked about an ASIN as the. Now, what's a child ASIN?
It's just a variant of a listing. So if you have a parent, which is the main product page, and you have different colors and different sizes, each one of those is going to be a child ASIN.
Mm-hmm. All right, moving on. CPC. This is an advertising term. Stands for cost per click. Mm-hmm. Explain that, Chris.
Yeah, this is just what you get charged for a keyword. So when somebody clicks on your product for a keyword you're bidding on, you're going to get the charge for that is going to be called a cost per click. So you're only charged on a cost per click basis for your ad, and so that's why people bid on different types of keywords to get better placement, and you're only charged again when that person clicks on the ad.
Mm-hmm. And that's different than your bid. I mean, you may be bidding 60 cents on a keyword. But when someone clicks on it, the CPC might only be 52 cents.
Good point.
And depending on how that auction goes, Amazon's not always going to charge you your bid. They might charge you less or more if you've got multipliers on there. And that's where you're going to see what the actual cost per click is. Mm-hmm. All right, next one, CTR, which is your click-through rate. What is that? This is
just a number. Yeah, just this is quick calculation. Number of clicks divided by the number of impressions for your product, for your ad.
Yep. So a good click-through rate, the higher it is, the better it is. All right, DSP. This is a newer Amazon ad platform. Explain it.
Yeah, this is big. This is a bigger topic, a demand side platform. This is for big advertisers, brands. Mm-hmm. A lot of the functions that DSP has are starting to be implemented into like Seller Central and your vendor accounts. So I'll be looking for that. But this is a demand side platform. This is for advanced advertising on and off Amazon. There's usually a minimum to get in this program. I think it's like $25K a month that you're willing to spend on ads. Mm-hmm. But a lot of the functionality of demand side platform is starting to roll over in Seller Central. If you want to get into demand side platform, be ready to spend on ads and have a minimum. But you can also you can contact some agencies who may have access to this. So, this is something I'm not in, but I know this is demand side platform. This is you're going to spend more money on ads, mm-hmm. And so just it's more advanced for ads, really.
All right, next term, ERP, or the Early Reviewer Program.
This is a program you want to enroll all your ASINs in once you get a new product, because this is where you're going to get your initial reviews. So mm-hmm. There's an early reviewer program. You'll just enroll that ASIN in there, and this will get you more reviews for your product.
And next up is EBC. I'll just go ahead and touch on this because we already talked about A+ content. EBC is no longer relevant, but you still will hear people say this because they're used to it. It's enhanced brand content is what EBC stands for, but that is now called A+ content. So anytime you hear somebody say EBC, they're actually talking about A+ content, which we already talked about earlier. All right, the next two. You can do this one quick, Chris. The difference FBA and FBM.
FBA fulfilled by Amazon, FBM fulfilled by merchant. Those are super common. You should know what those are if you're listening to this podcast.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, by now, because you have to choose. Are you going to fulfill it yourself or let Amazon? All right, next up, this is FNSKU. So what is the FNSKU? This is an important one.
Yeah, this is just an identifier for the product that are fulfilled by Amazon. So these are Amazon's, look at this as Amazon's UPC network, like UPC mm-hmm. codes. This is a different type of label that you can put on a product when you send it into Amazon. This is what they're going to scan. So this is just a stock keeping unit, mm-hmm. Fulfillment network stock keeping unit. That's what that stands for. But essentially, it's just an Amazon identifier for the products.
Sure, and it's a barcode that you can print. You print. That's what you're printing when you're printing out the Amazon labels. Is the FNS KU, and it's a more unique identifier. So if you're selling something that other people are selling, this is identifying not only as that product, but also that's yours of that product. So you get the credit when that one sells. It also is identifying condition. So if it's a used one or a new one, or it's a way to separate. It's very specific, unique to that actual product. All right. Here's another term you'll hear a lot. It's been replaced, but people still refer to it this way. It's headline search ads. What are those?
Yeah, this is now sponsored brand ads. But yeah, these are a lot of old terminologies that Amazon had a few years ago. They've just been replaced. So when somebody says headline search ads, which I haven't heard a lot of recently, which is good to hear because a lot of people are using sponsored brand ads. So yeah, sponsored brands is now the new terminology, but they're the same.
Yep, and we'll talk about that in a second once we get to that term. Here's another thing you hear a lot, hijacking. I have a hijacker on my listing. So explain that real quick.
This happens a lot when people do like giveaways on their product or do a lot of promotion on their product, and people that get it for free or super cheap, they'll just resell it on your listing. So this is when somebody lists the same product, or it could be a different product, but they list an item on your listing, and they win the buy box. It could be a counterfeit product at a lower price. So this will cause you to lose the buy box, and it could be an issue. So this is where you want to do like a test buy, and we could have a whole podcast about hijacking. But this is essentially when somebody jumps on your listing and sells either a counterfeit product or the same product that you gave away to try to make some money off of it.
Yeah, there's lots of ways people can hijack. They also hijack listings when you run out of stock, and they'll take over and send in counterfeit stock.
I've seen some shady stuff, especially.
Yeah. You do not want a hijacker on your listing. You want to take care of that immediately. All right, impressions. What does it mean for advertising when you hear the word impressions?
Just when your ad shows up. So this is how many times your ad is being shown for a given time period for that keyword. So when you see impressions, that's how many times it shows up. If you have low impressions, it means your bid's too low. So you want to increase your bid to get more impressions. So impressions is the number of times your ad is being shown.
Next one is ISBN. This is for authors, whether you're self-published or not. ISBN is an international standard book number. So it's like the UPC code for books. So when you hear the ISBN, that's a book identification number. All right, let's talk about two here that are and for shipping. You've got less than container load, LTL, and then you've got less than truckload. Talk about those.
Yeah, these are just different terms used when doing shipments or when you're bringing shipments in from your supplier or even shipping to Amazon. So less than container load, it means it measures less than 18 cubic meters. And then less than truckload is usually products for like ground transportation, more than 30 cartons in a load. So these are just terminologies that you would use when either shipping products to Amazon's warehouse or when you're importing from your supplier. And we could talk about these for a while too, I'm sure.
For sure. But you will see that and when you're shipping in, you'll see LTL a lot. So you want to know exactly what that means. All right. Let's move on to PPC, pay-per-click.
Pay-per-click, similar to, it's pretty simple. I mean, you're only paying per click for your ad every time your ad is being clicked.
Yep, and that's essentially how all advertising is on Amazon, with a few minor exceptions. They're all pay-per-click. And so like you said, you're bidding on it. If somebody clicks on it, you get charged that amount. All right, moving on. We've got just a couple more here. This is a common term, but it's newer to Amazon sellers. ROAS, return on ad spend. What's that?
This is something that's now being shown in your campaign manager. It's the ACOS has kind of been taken away. It's still there, but I mean, you can look at either your ACOS or your ROAS, which is your return on ad spend. So this is being used to determine how effective your ad campaigns are running. And it tells you how many dollars you will receive for every dollar you spend on advertising. So a high ROAS is great because that's how many dollars you're getting back for every dollar you spend. So I think this metric's going to be used more, especially now. People are looking at this in Campaign Manager. ACOS has been used a lot, but I would look for your ROAS to be a metric people like to look at.
Oh yeah, you'll definitely see it a lot, and it's a common term in advertising in general. Just it wasn't on Amazon in the past until recently, but it's the exact inversion of ACOS. If you have a 50% ACOS, you've got a 2 ROAS. It's the inversion of it. So it's just a different way of looking at it. And it's a little bit more positive. A lot of times, if you say your return on ad spend is 2, that's a lot better than saying you're spending 50% of all of your revenue on ads. It sounds a little better, even though they're the same thing. All right, 2 more. SKU or SKU. What does that mean?
Stock keeping unit. And this is just generic. This is a way to identify a product. You can name when you make a new listing, you can name your SKU whatever you want it to be. I didn't realize that at the very beginning. I just let Amazon do it. I had a bunch of weird numbers or weird letters as the SKU. So now every new product, I name my own SKU. That way, when I do a shipment, that SKU shows on the label, and now I know what's in there instead of trying to guess what it is. So super important when you do create a new listing, make sure you name the SKU or change the SKU to something that you're going to know what the product is.
Yeah, that's something I didn't know either. So the majority of my products, I've actually memorized the last 4 digits of the random one that Amazon did. But yeah, for new ones, I've been creating my own. And regardless, when it's not something that anybody's really going to see, because when you print your Fns Key labels, it's different. Amazon's creating that code for you. So it's just a way for you to understand, keep your stock under control. And last one, UPC. This is what everyone, when they first start selling, they got to figure out how to get a UPC for their product.
You done with OPP? Yeah, UPC. That's right. Just a UPC code. That's a code that you need to have for listing a new product. You can get these offline. There's certain websites out there. We should probably talk about some of those on a podcast, but there's certain ones you can use for your new products that will take that Amazon takes. So it's a way to have a new listing and a new code for your product. Exactly.
All right. Well, that's just a real snapshot of some of the most commonly used terms and acronyms on Amazon. If you've been selling on Amazon for a long time, those are just so obvious. They're used every day. All those terms, you understand them like the back of your hand. But if you are new to Amazon, it can be really helpful just to quickly understand what all of those mean. I sold on Amazon, been selling for a long time, and I learn new terms all the time. These are the basics. But when I started, I did not know what half of these meant. And you just have to look them up and go. So hopefully this is a good resource for you to understand those. And again, both Chris and I are here at Solozo. So if you're at the stage now where you're ready to advertise, or if you have started advertising and it's overwhelming, get on a call with either Chris or myself. You can go to solozo.com and book a demo with us, 30 minutes. We can talk about anything you want, Amazon related, advertising related. Go over, take a look at your campaigns, or talk about how Solozo can help you automate that. So we'd love to do that. You can go right now to book a time with us. And obviously go to Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, go to all of our channels, like our pages. You'll be notified when we go live. We always live stream our podcasts. And like our podcast and leave us a review if you think it was well worth it. So anyway, we will be back at this again tomorrow. Hopefully everyone had a great Thanksgiving, and we will see you guys tomorrow.